someone can listen to this and learn about how they can talk to their daughter.
Welcome to Family Features, a podcast for anyone who wants to experience healthy relationships within their family. This is Dr. Corey Gilbert, and I'm honored to come alongside you to encourage, educate, and equip you as we focus on the different relationships that make us family. Let's get started and focus on today's feature. Hey, welcome to the Family Features podcast. This is Dr. Corey Gilbert, and I am here today with my daughter Mylie, and it is her 10th birthday.
Hi.
So excited to have her with me today. Again, she's celebrating 10 years of being on this earth outside of her mommy. so excited to have you here and to have this conversation. Today, we're literally just going to have a conversation. Some things that we've encountered over the last many months and maybe even years, and struggles that have happened, and things that she's learning as a 10-year-old now, the things that she's interested in. And again, hopefully this is an example for you as to how you can love, lead, and have conversations with your sons and daughters. Obviously, in this case, daughter. So welcome, Mylie.
Welcome, Dad.
I'm glad to be here. We just came back from where?
From Red Lobster.
Yes, we went on our dinner date to Red Lobster. We picked a restaurant that the boys don't like, and that's our favorite place. And so we do that often, just as
Not
father
really that
daughter.
often.
See, there you go. Not that often. Not often enough. That's right. We need to do it more often.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I go out with Mom all the time, don't I? Yep, we go out every week or so. We find a way to get away, and because we have that as a priority. Yep. So what have you learned in this past year with this weird... your 9th year was really odd with the coronavirus and lockdown and everything changing so much. What is some lesson that you learned?
Well, a lesson I learned last week was I need to put sunscreen on.
Yeah, so you've got some nice pink skin here, and her shoulders are kind of blistery because they went to the lake and had it 4 hours.
Paddleboard.
Yeah, paddleboard. But it was only 71 degrees, so they didn't put suntan lotion on, so my redhead family was quite burned, which is funny. I was at work, but...
Came in the last 30 minutes.
Yep. So you learned that you need to put sunscreen on, no matter how cool it feels outside. Yeah. What else?
What have you learned?
I have learned that it's easier to sometimes just stay distracted than to have hard conversations. Like we've got to learn to have those hard conversations. Like you're 10 and you're growing up. Like if you think about it, 8 years from now, you're off on your own. It's kind of scary. 6 years from now, you're driving.
5 years from now, I still can drive, but
Yeah,
not
permit.
Yeah.
Your permit, that's right.
But that's in a while.
It is in a while, but the time flies fast because how old is Alex?
He is 14.
Yeah, so next year he'll be able to get his permit. So it's crazy to think about just a few years ago, you guys didn't exist.
Few?
Yeah.
More like a decade.
It's more like a decade, but it's really just a few years ago. Time flies. Like I posted on Facebook a picture of you saying, "Happy birthday to my daughter Mylie. She's amazing. I love her so much." And one of my uncles, missionary uncle that I grew up with in Chile, goes, "I remember when you were that age, Corey." It's crazy. Because he remembers when I was your age.
1 decade old.
Yeah.
Which kind of sounds odd to say.
Yeah, 1 decade old. And we have lots of things by living here in Oregon, lots of fun things we can do, but it's also hard sometimes because we're not near family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is difficult when you want to spend time with family. Yeah. A few weeks ago, we went to South Dakota, a road trip.
I worked on a book for about 24 hours.
No, 4 days.
Yeah, but it's like 24 hours that I was on the book.
Yeah, 4 days, her and her cousin worked on finished one book and started a second book, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. What else have you learned this year? With CC and American Heritage Girls and karate.
I learned some moves.
You learned some moves. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's hard to keep them up, though, with the lockdown and having to do it through Zoom, right?
Yeah, well, lately we haven't done it through the
Right.
phone. We didn't really do that. Only
Yeah.
Alex did.
Okay. And then you're going now face to face, but you have to wear a mask, which stinks.
Yeah. Hopefully soon he'll say we don't.
Right. Yeah. And then what else too? American Heritage Girls and homeschool group and
Sometimes it's hard to notice what you've learned, even though you know you've learned a lot.
you're learning to write better. You're learning cursive right now.
Oh, yeah.
You're learning some amazing stuff in math. We've learned a lot lately about history. Driving to South Dakota, learning about
Crazy
Horse and Custer's Last Stand and some of this history there that's really sad. Yeah. It's really sad to look at history and see all the death and dying and killing and anger. And
I just think we should talk it out.
I think you should talk it out. That's exactly right. And now we have some of the same stuff going on. People that are very angry and not handling it very well. Which is why it's important for us to learn how. Right?
Like through the Bible.
Through the Bible. And that's why we kind of center our life on that. Is there's things that we might want, but what's smart for me? And we go back to the Bible. What does the Bible say?
Or you can pray and see if you'll get an answer. Like, every night I pray about sleeping well and this healing.
Yep, lately, yeah. What else? What's the biggest thing you've learned through American Heritage Girls over the last few years? You've been doing that for 5 years? 5 years, wow. And so, what's the point?
The point, I think, is like socializing with people. I'm learning about God and learning skills.
Yeah, learning some neat skills. Yeah, and that's another one of those things that a lot of people don't have, is they don't have basic skills, and they struggle because of not having those things. As you get older here, you'll learn some more about leadership, and that kind of stuff too, and putting on your own event.
Yeah. Because to level up, I have to set up an event.
Do an event, yeah. It's
I'm
going to be
hoping to
exciting.
do that with Athena.
Nice. It's going to be fun. Nice. Yeah. And all the stuff that we read and watched before going to South Dakota, what stands out to you about Crazy Horse and all the history there?
Well, the first thing I thought of when I thought through it was when Custer talked about the disgrace of losing the button of the guy. That's the first thing I thought of.
The disgrace of what?
How he lost a button on the uniform. That's what I thought of.
And it's funny the kind of things that we can get obsessed about when we're in a pretty tight and difficult situation like he was in. Yeah, I didn't know all this history because I didn't grow up here.
Yeah, you grew up in Chile.
In Chile, yeah. So I did not know a lot of this history, and it's been very hard to hear and see, but important. It's so important to learn history. There was a vote last year here in Oregon about whether they should teach about the Holocaust or not in the school.
Holocaust?
Yeah, all the Nazi Germany and so much of the killing. And the truth is, we need to learn history so that we can be wise with the future.
And try and make it to where we don't repeat it, just like World War I and World War II.
Exactly. We need to learn from history, our own personal history, and the
mistakes of not putting sun.
Yes, I've done that so many times where I've didn't learn from my past mistake, and I did it again, and then did it again with sunburns. Yeah.
I think I don't get sunburned that often.
You don't, because of where we live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a benefit. What else?
Well, I didn't know that we tried to attack the Indians because of gold, which I think is just cool.
Yeah. Very, very greedy. So if you look at history, we've always been very greedy. People in general. Very greedy. Which is sad. Which always comes back to, this is why we need the Bible. This is why we need Christ. This is why we need the cross. This is why we need a Savior. Yep. So going to South Dakota was actually really eye-opening with a lot of the stuff we learned. Yeah, now moving forward in this coming year, one of the things that we've talked about as a family is, and especially Kelly, with how we lead our kids, is talking more about the difference in race and just who we are as people and as people of God. And we've got a lot to learn, a lot of growing to do.
Even when you're old, you still have a lot to learn.
It's true.
And getting gray hairs.
And getting gray hairs, yep. Yep. So we've done a few podcasts looking at The Lies Girls Believe. We'll do some more, hopefully, because there's some just such good stuff there. Can you think of something you've read lately that you learned a really good lesson from?
Well, lately I've been reading Revelation.
Yes, you have. So this young lady decides to start reading Revelation, and then Kelly goes, Mylie is making a list of questions for Pastor Mark. And she's going to send to him to ask, because she wants to know why we're not talking about this and how we can find answers to some of this.
Like, it said there are 3 judgments. I'm confused.
Yes. So you're asking some incredibly heavy, important questions, which is so amazing. I love it. Yeah. So Revelations has opened up a lot. What else? Just there's different fun books you've read. Because you read a lot.
Yeah, I do. I think sometimes I read too much.
No, you're good.
Up too late reading.
Yeah, up too late reading is yes. That's true.
That's what I mean.
So what stands out to you? Something you learned from one of those?
Well, maybe like from The Call of the Wild I've been reading lately. Never to Give Up, maybe.
Okay, I like that. Never to Give Up.
Because this dog Buck, he was taken from his home, and then he was made to work as a sled dog when he had always been just a house dog. And he didn't give up. He kept working. He learned to fear club.
Are you talking about the dog learned?
Yeah.
That's weird.
This is the dog's point of view.
That's so funny. Yeah. And it's interesting because that's one of the most important things about reading is you're learning from these stories. So reading about good, about bad, about evil, about selfishness, about sin, about love. It's all teaching you about who you could be, should be, shouldn't be. Like, this is really neat to see how it shapes you.
I just thought, and learning about Harley Davidson.
What?
Well, it's kind of on your shirt.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how you thought it.
Yeah.
You think they're the life.
No, I ride a Harley for a reason. At least I'm not in a wheelchair. Yeah, it's been nice to have better health in the last many years that we've been here in Oregon.
Finding better doctors.
No, actually, there's been no doctors here.
You're just learning it yourself.
Yeah, but the doctors that helped me were over in Atlanta and in Mississippi and Texas.
People far away from here.
Yeah, so it's been hard to not have them, but yeah. And that's one of those things again to learn. Is what I've learned is I actually walked into the doctor's office in Atlanta with a book that the guy had written the foreword in, that the doctor had, and he goes, "Oh, I wish that book had never been printed." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because people take the book as if it's do this." He goes, "But everyone is so unique. It's not that simple." And so he was able to kind of take what I was doing in the book and was interpreting wrong and tailor it to fix my body. And I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm heavier than I've ever been in a good way. And that's a good thing for me. But it's a constant learning. And so books become a really good tool to learn.
And to help you escape.
Yeah, sometimes to help you escape. But even in the escape, you're learning from their stories. All those weird books you read with the animals talking, you're learning about something, right? Which is kind of neat. Yeah. It's not always good to escape, right? Why would that not be a good thing to always escape?
Can't learn the lesson.
Yeah.
That might come with it.
It's true.
Like how Jesus didn't escape from the cross.
Oh, gosh. You went to the best one. Yep. He could have.
Easily.
Easily. But he chose not to. That's right.
It was easier if it was just standing.
Mm-hmm.
You could just walk away.
Yep. So we have a lot to learn. That's our whole life. Why are we learning all the stuff that we're learning? Just to be smart?
To stay safe, to stay alive.
Well, I look forward to dying and going to heaven.
No.
Don't want it to be soon, but it's not just to stay alive. Why are we here?
To help people believe in Christ.
Exactly, to help people believe in Christ. And so it's to be able to be of influence to those around us. Whether it's in the small group here or a bigger group. It's the people that you interact with. It's the kind of person you are, the kind of young lady you are. Yes, there are bad people out there, which is hard to
A lot.
wrap our minds around. But it's shaping of culture. You become an incredible culture changer because you have a different outlook. You have hopefully a biblical outlook, which is the part that we hopefully are trying to teach.
And trying to learn more.
Yep. And we're doing too. Mom and I are both growing and learning and always trying to be better as parents, better as Christians, better as leaders, better as a husband, wife, all those things. Lots of different roles.
Better as son and daughter.
No, we don't do that very well.
Well, no one really does.
Except
for Jesus, he's a really good
We
son.
just talked on the phone with my mom. She called and said, wish you happy birthday. And then at the end, she's like, Corey, call me. Like, oops, yeah, I need to call more often. Yep. Yeah. But we definitely have, you're itching, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, careful there. You don't want to scratch it and hurt it. Sunburn. Mm-hmm. So anything else you can think of that you're learning from books?
For some reason, I can't remember the book I read before the book I'm currently reading.
Can't help you there. What are you learning from karate?
Moves.
Moves, yeah, you said
I
that.
said earlier.
Yeah. What's the point of karate?
To stay safe. And
It's to stay safe, and hopefully you're not
stay
in those
exercised.
positions. It's good exercise, and I hope you don't need to use it to stay safe.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, but it's also the exercise is good, but it's teaching you skills. So, it's neat to, when I grab your arm, you make a move to block just without thinking. So you have skills without thinking that are kind of in your operating system to block, which is so cool.
Though I can't, when someone grabs me, I can't escape because I'm not very strong.
You're a tiny little 10-year-old. You're growing up, so you will get there, I promise.
You can grab both my hands with one hand.
Yep. You will get there. I promise. Yeah. And then part of what we talk about some in our home and is important to talk about with your kids, and I talk about in my book, I Can't Say That, and that's about going beyond the talks. It's about sexuality, but also we talk through some trauma stuff, is how to instill in our kids that ability to know how to say no and know how to set boundaries and know when something's not okay. If you're not careful, the default is someone grabs them and they're quiet. We freeze versus fight or flight. And so fight or run. And so being able to be loud and to have the initial reaction be to yell, scream, kick, bite, punch when someone were to do that. The thing is that's only about 9% of what actually happens in terms of abuse, if you will. People outside. The worst ones are people that you know and you trust. And so being able to know when to just get up and run out the door. And so the wisdom of protecting yourself and being smart.
But like my karate teacher, Mr. Alex, says, your voice is your best weapon.
Nice, I like that. Your voice is your best weapon. So being loud when you need to be.
Because that can make people come or can make them worry that people will come.
Exactly. I love it. See, that's important. And see, we're learning from all these places. American Heritage Girls teaches us skills and about God and country and family values. Church, you there? Church. Church teaches us about God and about our faith and who we are supposed to be as believers and in the body of Christ. Karate is teaching you skills and how to protect yourself.
And so is HC. And CC is teaching me about my past and things about my brain.
Yeah, so CC is teaching about your brain and about...
Then Bible study is teaching me more about God. Studying one book.
Yeah. So
or
you guys,
sometimes a few.
Yeah, you guys study very, very deeply in Bible study. It's community Bible study, which is Kelly's been a part of for, 9, 10, 11 years, something like that. It's a long time, but... yeah, and those things all build into who you are. And that's where us as parents, we make decisions as to what they do and what they don't do. And there's things we wish they could do that we haven't been able to do.
But like, Bible study is also why I met one of my best friends.
Yeah, it's amazing how that opens the door to friendships and relationships. Yep. And you're going to have lots of friends over the years, and it's going to be neat to see which ones kind of hang on through the different transitions of life. And so, like, when I got married to your mom, the guy that was my best man, I hadn't seen him in 10 years. So he flew in from Korea to be my best man because he was one of my good friends. And after 10 years, it's just like pick up right where we left off. Good friends. And we haven't seen each other in, 17 years because next weekend, Mom and I will have been married 17 years. And so...
My birthday and your anniversary is so close.
So close, yep. Yeah, so 17 years next Sunday. That's awesome.
What if you, my birthday had been on the same day of your anniversary?
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
But then you'd have to kind of celebrate both on the same day.
Yeah. So we don't really celebrate, do we, that much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every family's different with that. Some big celebrations and some do smaller ones. And
Some do none.
yeah, we like to do trips. We like to do events and outings and things like that. Do stuff, so yeah. Well, it's been good talking to you about kind of where you're at, and happy birthday, 10th birthday, my growing up young lady. So I'm so honored to be your dad.
Happy almost anniversary.
Thank you. Yep, 17 years. Pretty exciting. So I look forward to talking with you more. And next time we can dive into something specific and walk through some points. But today I wanted to just kind of see kind of what are you learning. And it's neat to see all the things you're doing that helps shape you into hopefully a very godly, amazing young woman. So, love you.
Love you.
And thanks for listening to the Family Features podcast. This is Dr. Corey Gilbert and my daughter Mylie.
Hi. Bye.
Yeah, bye. See y'all next time. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Family Features podcast. It has been an honor to serve. Find out more about Dr. Gilbert and his resources for you and your family's growth and success at healinglives.com. And if you think you could use some support along the way, be sure to book that call at bookdrg.com. And one more thing, if you found this helpful, please share this podcast with others so that we can change the world together.